Namaste students, welcome back. Let's start with a new chapter, that is chapter 4 in political science, that is key elements of a democratic government. Okay, in the last class you have learned about government. What is government? What do you understand by government? It's a group of people governing a community or a unit. It also administers the policy, public policy. Okay, what is the role of a government? What is the role of a government? Yes, it protects the rights of the workers. It takes decisions. It has to protect the boundaries and maintain peace and security. Okay, so along with that you have learnt about the different types of government. What are the different types of government? Yes, we have 4 types, that is democratic government, dictatorship, then we have monarchy and aristocracy. Okay, these are the 4 types of government. In democratic government, what have you learned? What is democratic? The people give power to the government. People give the power to the government. So monarchy is king or the queen, okay, rules it, and they need not defend or give any explanation. Okay, then we have aristocracy, that is hereditary, that is noble birth. Okay, then we have dictatorship. Dictatorship is absolutely one person is taking in charge. Okay, like we had Hitler. He is called a dictator, that is whatever he does others have to follow. Okay, these are the different types of governments what you have learnt in your previous class. So today we are going to learn about the key elements of a democratic government. Okay, what do you understand by democratic government? We are going to go deep into it. And what is a democratic government means? According to Abraham Lincoln, it is government by the people, of the people and for the people. So what does it mean by the people? What does it mean by the people? By the people means people elect one among them as a representative. They elect one person, they choose one person among themselves as a representative. So for the people, what do you understand by for the people? The person who has been chosen, he acts as a representative on behalf of the people. Okay, so he takes decisions for the people. So it is government by the people, of the people and for the people. So in a democratic government, what happens is people have the right to participate and criticize. Okay, they have the right to participate and criticize. Then they can express their views as a protest, as a means of protest, or people can help them, like media, television, all they can help them. And what happens is in a democratic government, people elect a representative, and the representative, what he does is he works on behalf of the people. Okay, they can be chosen only for a certain period of time, and if the government wants to continue, the government has to be re-elected. Okay, this is what is called as democratic government. So we'll start with a lesson. The key of elements of a democratic government starts with a conversation between two, that is mother and a daughter. The mother and the daughter have a conversation. The daughter, Maya Naidu, okay, they live in South Africa. When she was helping her mother clear up the boxes, so what happens, she sees a scrapbook, okay, in which a picture of a boy, school going boy, is there, and she is so curious to know about him. So she asks her mother who this guy is. So she says he is Hector. Okay, and what happened, she says he was shot dead by the police, and Maya is so shocked that a young school going boy was shot dead. So what happens, this is all because of apartheid rule. Okay, now let's see what is apartheid rule. So in this lesson we are going to learn some contents, that is we are going to learn apartheid, then we have the key elements of democratic government, that is participation, the resolution of conflict and equality and justice. These are the key elements of democratic government. So the lesson has started with Maya Naidu. She is from South Africa. Do you know where South Africa is? Do you know where it is? Yes, South Africa is a continent. I have a picture here of the world. See, this is Africa. This is Africa. We are speaking about South Africa. South Africa is here. Okay, this is India. This is South Africa. So she is from South Africa, and it is as we have diversity in culture and traditions. South Africa is very much toward, there was a lot of discrimination in races. Okay, so here Maya Naidu finds a picture of Hector, and she has a conversation with the mother. So we'll see what apartheid is. Okay, what apartheid is? Apartheid means separation on the basis of race. Okay, South Africa was divided into white, black and colored people, races. Races means discrimination in color. Okay, that is white, black and colored. The whites are people who have come from other countries and settled. Blacks are those who are born in South Africa, residents of them, and colored is Indian and other people, okay, who are not whites, who are non-whites. Okay, so separation on the basis of race. So they had the whites. This is discrimination between white and non-white. So the whites had separate hospitals. They had separate hospitals. They had well equipped ambulances. Their hospitals were very clean. Okay, then they had separate bus trains, and even the bus stops were different, and these people, these three races were not allowed to mingle with each other. They were not allowed to mingle with each other. And the blacks, the non-whites, were not allowed to vote. Okay, the best land was given to the white. Okay, the white people were given the best possible land, and the waste part, which is not well hygienic, that was given to the non-whites, and they were not considered equal. The non-whites were not considered equal. So what happened? Africans used to speak Afrikaner language, and what happened is Hector, here we again come back to Hector. Hector had protested. Okay, he was a school going student. So what happened is, along with his friends, what he did is he joined the protest against the learning of African language in schools. Actually they were learning, they wanted to learn Zulu, that is their language, but they were forced to learn African in school. So they protested against this, and so at this protest, the police, African police, mercilessly beat up the protesters and they opened fire. So what happened? One bullet kills Hector. So after that, what happens is the African National Congress. The African National Congress is a group of people, okay, who led the struggle. They led the struggle. So what happens? Their leader was Nelson Mandela. Leader was Nelson Mandela. They fight against the discrimination in races and apartheid, and they succeed in the year 1994. And South Africa becomes a democratic country. Africa becomes a democratic country. So this is about apartheid. Okay, so here whites and non-whites. The whites were having clean hospitals, well equipped ambulances, then they had separate bus stops and trains. The best land was given to them. The whites spoke the Afrikaner language, and we have the non-whites. They had, their hospitals were unhygienic, then they were not, their ambulance was not well equipped, and they had to live in the worst available land, and they were forced to learn Afrikaner, though their language was Zulu. They were not allowed to vote. This is the difference between white and non-whites. So this was a protest against African apartheid. Okay, so I have a picture here of Nelson Mandela. So this is, just look at this picture, children. This is Nelson Mandela, a group of people who led the struggle against apartheid. Role of Nelson Mandela. Finally, in 1994, South Africa becomes a democratic country. Okay. Okay, this is what we have learned for today. So we learned what apartheid is. Now we'll go with the key elements of the democratic government. So what are the key elements I told you? Participation, equality and justice, and resolution. Okay, resolution of the conflicts. So let's start with the first one, that is participation. How do we participate in the government's activities? Through voting, because we are the persons who have elected them. So what happens is, through voting people elect leaders, okay, people elect leaders, and the representatives, the chosen people, representatives by us, take decisions, okay. Then the voice of the people are included, because they are representing us, so whatever we want we have to put forward to them, okay. Government is elected for a fixed period. The government is elected for a fixed period. So in India it is 5 years. Okay, after 5 years, if you want that same government coming into position, then what we have to do is, again when we have election after 5 years, we have to re-elect them. And if we are not satisfied with the government, what we do? We change our party. Okay, we change our leader. We change our representative. So participation is, through voting people elect leaders, representatives take decisions, voice of the people is included, government is elected for a fixed period, and in India it is 5 years. And if you want that government to come back again, you have to re-elect for them to continue. So other ways of participation are, there are other ways of participation also. They are people can participate in the working of the government and criticize when required. They can criticize also when the government is wrong. For example, in August 2005, the government had once increased the amount to be paid for the electricity. So what happened? People criticized them, and what they did is, they took rallies, there were strikes, signature campaigns and all. So what happened? The government tried to explain and defend itself, but though the people had participated in this rally, and also the government had to change its decision, because they are working for they are representatives of the government, okay, of the people, okay. So then we have people express their views. People express their views through dharnas, rallies, strikes and signature campaign. Okay, things which are unfair and injustice are should be brought forward towards the government, and newspapers, magazines and TV play a role in discussing government's issues and responsibilities. So here other ways of participating in the democratic government is, we have the right to participate in the government's issues, and we can criticize also, and people express their views through strikes, rallies and signature campaigns, and newspaper, magazines and TV play a important role in helping the people. So other ways of participation we have learned. See, while it is true that democratic allows people to participate, it is also true that not all sections of the people are actually able to do so. So another way for people to participate is by organizing them into social movements that seek to challenge the government and its functions. Members of the minority community, women, are often able to participate in this manner. So alertness and interest of citizen also matters a lot. So this is all about participation and other ways of participation. The next one is to need to resolve conflicts. Okay, the Indian Constitution lays down the basic rights, rules and laws for the people and the government. Okay, so whenever there is a conflict, what happens is, it leads to violence and death, problems, fear and tensions. So discrimination is another cause for conflict. So conflicts leads to violence because one group of people decide that it is all right to use force to prevent the group from protesting. So what happens is, see, look, the role of a government is to resolve conflicts between the various groups. Okay, there are two groups. Okay, so conflict arises when people of different religions and economic background strongly disagree with each other. When there is a disagreement between the two people, okay, the government takes steps to prevent conflicts from turning violent. Okay, for example, religious celebrations and processions, you might have seen celebrations and processions. What happens when one religious function is going on, the other party, what happens? They either try to disturb or pelt stones. All these happen. So the government, that is police, they maintain law and order. Okay, the next one is rivers. A river is another example for conflict. Okay, there is a lot of complication in Kaveri river. You know, the river, it begins from one place and it moves through another, flows through another, and it ends up another state. So what happens is, Kaveri, as I said, it is from Karnataka. It reaches Tamil Nadu. So we have Krishna Sagar Dam in Karnataka, where the water from this dam is used for in the needs for Bangalore and irrigation facilities, and the Mittur Dam, it is in Tamil Nadu. They also use it for irrigation for their crops. So what happens? A conflict arises when both the dams, that is the downstream dam in Tamil Nadu, can only get water filled up if the water is released from the upstream, that is Karnataka Krishna Sagar Dam. So both cannot get much water as they need for their people in the area. Okay, so this is about how to resolve the conflicts. So we finished with the need to resolve conflicts. Now the last one is equality and justice. Okay, one of the key ideas of a democratic government is its commitment to equality and justice. Equality and justice are inseparable. The earlier practice of untouchability is now banned by law. Okay, there people were denied education, transport, medical facilities, and chances to offer prayer in the temples. Okay, so Dr. Ambedkar and many others realized that such practice must not continue, and that justice can only be achieved when people are treated equal. So government recognized and make special provisions for groups within society that are unequal. Okay, so our society values a boy child, okay, gives more love and care towards a boy child. This means that the society does not value the girls, but the boys equally, and this is injustice or injustice. In this context, the government steps in to promote justice by providing special provisions that can enable girls to overcome the injustice. Okay, justice is advised when we treat everyone equally. Similarly, government also recognizes this and makes special provisions for within the society that are unequal. Okay, then coming back to once again to the board, we'll see that everybody is equal before law. Okay, everybody is equal before law. There is no discrimination. Okay, whether it is a baby girl, it's a boy or a girl, or rich or the poor, there is no discrimination. Everybody is equal in the eyes of the law. Everyone enjoys special status and special opportunities to study, okay, and earn a living. Everybody has the right to get justice, and government gives special benefits for women and girls. Okay, this we have Dr. Ambedkar. He was a person. So this is Dr. Ambedkar. Okay, this is Dr. Ambedkar. Okay, so we have come to the end of the lesson. We have in this lesson the key elements of a democratic government. We have learned the key elements, that is participating, other ways of participating, need to resolve conflicts, and equality and justice. So I have a homework for you. Please, you have to just write it down. Please write the homework. List 5 ways in which the non-whites in South Africa were discriminated against. Write it. List 5 ways in which the non-whites in South Africa were discriminated against. Okay, the second one is, what are the various ways in which people participate in the process of government? What are the various ways in which people participate in the process of government? Okay, we have come to the end of the lesson. Thank you. Have a nice day.